Toledo, we're famous for glass, Art Tatum, Tony Pacos, Jamie Farr, a world-class museum, the Toledo Mud Hens and Wildlife, an outstanding zoo and public library system. But who are the people that make our city so great? Welcome to the Soul of the Glass City podcast. I'm your host, Monique. We have the one and only Ronald Wells in the building. Woo!
All right.
Even though this isn't the focus of why we are here, Mr. Fashionable, as I call you, is in my chair in the studio with me today. I'm so excited. So everybody knows you in Toledo, in my opinion. But for those that don't, I would like you to tell them where you're from.
So one thing, the one and only, but only kind of, because I am a junior.
Dang. Wait.
Shout out to Ronald Sr.
Let's reintroduce him. Allow me to reintroduce you. This is Ronald Wells Jr., okay?
Right on.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
All right, so back to the first question. Where are you from?
So from a city by a lake, Chicago. You might have heard of it.
I have.
Yeah.
I love Chicago.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Born there, raised in Oak Park, Illinois, right next to Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up there?
You know, I loved it. It was a small community, 50,000, and I always have to qualify this, right? People from like, oh, you from Chicago? You like are from Naperville, right? It's like a far west suburb. The street, Austin, divides Chicago from Oak Park. So right there, town of 50,000, but you know, great schools, went to public school, middle school, elementary, high school.
You want to give your schools some shout outs? We love you.
Yeah, Washington Irvin. Shout out Washington Irvin. Percy Julian. Okay, middle school, and Oak Park River Forest High School. I was super active as a kid, you know, into a bunch of sports, and that shaped my life. I know we'll talk about where I am now, but yeah.
Did you know what you wanted to be when you were younger?
Not at all, honestly. You know, I give it to my folks because they just spoke life into me. Like, you can do whatever you want, doctor, engineer, you know, all of those answers. But I really didn't know.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah.
So after all those wonderful schools you went to, where did you end up going to, and what did you end up studying?
The University of Toledo.
Oh my goodness!
Shout out.
That's how we got you?
TOL.
Oh my God. Okay. Mm-hmm. So talk about that.
So came out to the University of Toledo 2008. That's when I graduated high school, and then came to Toledo. And by that time, I had a better sense of who I wanted to be. But you know, really, my parents drove up here. You know, one Saturday. I'd never been to Ohio. I don't have any family here. I didn't know anybody here. We went to an orientation, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you know, we like Toledo. It's nice. The campuses, you know, everything's cool." And then a weekend later, they just like booted me out the Mitsubishi, and then I've been here ever since.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Was it like happy or traumatizing?
No, it was great. You know, it definitely, you know, growing pains, right? I came of age here in Toledo. You know, I owe it that. You know, the tribe that I had to make, and the friends, and just being here by myself, you know, it took some time to get used to that. But that's the kind of person I am. I like meeting people. I love people, and eventually found my way. So
what did you end up studying?
So I studied exercise science, graduated with a degree in exercise science. Spent a little time as a psychology major too. The body and the mind, they go together. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you got deep with it. All right.
I like to get deep.
Okay. And the funniest thing is that when I ran into you recently, I never knew this whole time that you were pursuing a PhD in public health. Tell us what are you doing now with that and in your career, and what do you love most about it?
So, one, on a path to be the first in my family. So that's, you know, first and foremost, just like one driving factor, right, of how education is important to me. And my mom graduated college. My dad went to school, took some classes and didn't graduate, found his passion. And only reason why my mom went to the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, from Project 500, she, they sent 500 black youth from the city of Chicago to go down to Champaign-Urbana. And so just the importance of education has always been around. And so to be the first in my family is really big. But PhD in public health education at the University of Toledo. I'm a public health guy. I'm a wellness guy. And it just goes back to when I was a kid. I was always in sports, hockey, karate, volleyball, right? Just always a physical guy. And studying exercise science, the body and the mind and our wellness is just crucial to who we are, crucial to everything that we do. And so that is, I want to impact that.
So we're going to segue into, what are you doing now in your career?
Yeah, so a lot of things, actually. How do I want to answer that question? There's
okay, like where
Ronnie,
are you working now? Where are you working now, first off?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I work for the county commissioners. I do a lot of extracurricular things as well.
Okay.
So we can get.
We're going to get into that.
We're going to get into all of it.
Okay.
But for the county commissioners, I'm an executive assistant to Commissioner Pete Gherkin.
Okay.
And
that is like so far away from health, exercise, or
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
On its surface, it seems that way, right?
Okay.
On the surface, it seems that way.
Okay.
But when we really dig deep into how politics and how our government shapes our health, like, it is so inextricably connected.
Okay.
Right. And I had a big lesson on that in 2016. I organized for Secretary Clinton in that presidential election, and that was a eye-opening moment, right? To a lot of people had that thought and that question, like, how does this impact healthcare? How does this impact my child care? And I'm like, of course it does, right? Like, the government sends funds, it gives resources to all of these different places that are ultimately going to impact your health and your family's health.
Again, getting deep with me real fast. All right.
We're in it.
We're in there.
Yeah.
So what do you love the most about what you do?
What I love the most about what I do, that's a great question. I mean, it would be easy to say just the joy that, people have when they feel good, right? Mm-hmm. Like, think of a moment where you just, I love
how your eyes are just shining right now while you're talking to me.
This is
I haven't
passion.
seen that in a while. Like,
this
that's
is
so
my
cool.
passion, right? I want people to feel good. I wake up and, or you wake up, whoever's listening, and they're like, yo, I just feel good right now. Might not be the whole day, might be a moment, but what are those things that just, people feel good? It's the people that they're around, right? It's being able to eat well, right? It's moving their body, right? They saw some art, had a good time with, listening to some music, like, all of these things just make you feel good. And so I want to impact all of these areas.
Okay. How long have you been in Toledo now? Like, if we were to add up the years, and from the day you got here and got kicked out the car and on the UT campus, mm-hmm. How long have you been here now?
16 years.
16 beautiful years. And you have made such an impact on the city and everything. So what have you done for yourself, for fun? Let's go to
fun.
The fun.
Who's the fun Ronnie Wells? I mean, I'm actively trying to think of all the ways to bring fun to my life right now, because getting through this PhD ain't no joke.
Okay.
I'm just keep it the buck. Working full time, school full time. It's been a challenge, but so spend a lot of time at the gym. I do triathlons, run half marathons. So I'm super active. I love to just meditate and really zone out in that way. A musician. I'm a quiet kind of musicianly man. Just spend some time.
What does that even mean?
So in college, I was in a music fraternity.
Oh.
I used to be a rapper in high school.
Oh.
I got bars.
It's a real fraternity, though?
It's real. Phi Mu Alpha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to spit some bars for us real quick?
I mean, I can.
Come
up let me think of one that I have. I have some poems. Okay. I have some bars, and then
okay, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, at the end we can come back to it.
Okay. Do you want to add some more fun things you love to do in Toledo?
Lately I'm trying to think of really what I have been interested in doing lately. Honestly, more travel. I'm the type of guy where I love to travel and just experience different things, but with other people. Like, by myself, I'm not just gonna impulsively. You know what
my favorite thing to do is?
To go places.
Yes.
All right. Impulsively, I'm not just gonna get up and go to Pittsburgh. But if my friend, hits me up, my best friend Quinn or Bradley, they're like, "Hey, you want to do this weekend?" Then I can make it happen.
Where's the last places you guys went?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I went to Chicago because that's just where my family is. So I spent a lot of time there. The last like vacation, it's probably been a while. Probably a workcation because I do travel for work. Baltimore and Houston last year.
I still haven't made it to Houston. That's on my list.
Mm-hmm.
You also have a very extensive personal and career resume. Can you share a little bit about your projects and accolades with us and how you talk to me about living the mission of a public health practitioner?
Yeah, that's right. And I think about all the things. I'm in this phase right now in school where I have to put together all of this stuff. And we were talking about this. It's kind of hard to talk about yourself sometimes and like list all the things that you've done. It's been a good exercise. Currently, I'm a co-chair for Ohio Partners for Cancer Control. That may be one of my biggest responsibilities. It's a statewide cancer coalition under the Ohio Department of Health. And, the passion in that group, right, when we talk about reducing the cancer burden, and cancer is something that undoubtedly impacts everybody's life. I think everybody 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degrees has been touched by cancer. That is the case in my family. So helping with the mission of that organization is really important. I sit on various boards locally, the Toledo Opera. I love music. I love art. And so that has been a great opportunity to help that organization. Human Relations Commission, the City of Toledo Human Relations Commission. Again, just as a public servant, that body has existed to really be a bridge between like community and government. And I think that we need that so much right now, right? How do we, as people, just as residents, really understand our government, understand all the things that they do for us, but then at the same time, that flow exists in the other way of like, how can we continue to shape them to better serve us? And that's just a couple.
Nice. Okay. What do you see yourself doing 10 years from now? And is residing in Toledo still part of that plan?
It is. Residing in Toledo, we'll start there, is part of that plan. I'm here. I love here. I love Toledo so much. Again, it's, my education, my community that I've been able to be a part of. And, say you can't pick your relatives, but you can.
I actually heard you almost say family, but I don't know if you didn't want to offend your family. But
No. I'm totally getting to that, right? Like, you can't pick your relatives, but we can still pick our family by like the friends in the community that we encounter in our lifetime. And I've been so fortunate to do that here. So being here is part of that. 5 to 7 years, what do I want to be? I absolutely want to be a health executive, right? I want to impact our institution. I want to lead in thought and in education on how we look at wellness in the broadest sense of things, right? Because ultimately, no matter what we do, it's going to come back to the health of you, your children, your neighbors, right? And I just want that to be the highest quality it can possibly be.
I just love all this. Is there anything that you would like our listeners to leave this interview with? And you can spit a poem. You can tell us what you think about life. Like, we just want to hear these expressive thoughts in your mind, because I'm sure as much as I'm enjoying it, our listeners would enjoy it too.
Yeah. I left my phone in the car, and in a practice of not being attached, being addicted to my phone, I was like, oh, no, I'm not gonna get it. But that's where all my bars are. That's where my poems are.
Okay. But I'm sure there's like one you memorized. Or freestyle.
There's this poem called Great American. I'm gonna see if I can remember it. It's like, Great American, where the dream is the heresy. Factions of youth that never learn to smile on the inside. But how can they when all the depictions they see are black men doing crime, news cycles, and we deserve a class action lawsuit for libel because we are not, it's like, I'm thinking about the concepts of character, right?
Yeah.
And how, people are represented, right? So this line about libel, but
Oh, that was slick. I
yeah,
caught it.
you
I
know,
caught it.
it's.
I don't know. We might have to bring you back for just a poetry session.
Thank you for getting me out of my comfort zone. I'm like freestyling on this podcast.
Yes. We love it. So, but any other thoughts that you'd like to leave the listeners with?
You know, one, just thank you for sitting down and talking with me. I love talking with you just in general, but I get to do it in this official way. Again, just thinking about our path in wellness, of how we treat ourselves, right, and how we treat other people is it's an evolving thing. It's an ever changing thing. Sometimes when we are sick, right, it's like we still have to get up and do things, and we still have to love ourselves in these moments. I want people to prioritize rest, right, and recovery, to think that we always have to, go, right, especially in this society. There's a time to go and there's a time to be still. So yeah, those two things. I can go into my whole philosophy of wellness, but our relationship with our body, our wellness, our health is so essential. It's not separate from anything else that we do. So it's super important to take care of, know your numbers, get your checkups, all of that. Drink tea, get good sleep. Water, all of that.
Which we have bottles here to
that we do. I should take a sip real quick. So.
But yes, thank you so much.
Thank you
for sharing these gems of information. I actually ran into a few people and I mentioned that I was going to have you on my show, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love him. He's just full of nuggets of information and gems." And I even quoted something you said to me to somebody else, and they were just like, "Yep, that's him."
Okay.
So
wow.
A lot of people appreciate you.
Well, and I appreciate them. I really do, and I'm so grateful. I'm just so happy to be here. So thank you, and
we look forward to seeing what you're going to do for yourself and our city and the world in the not so distant future.
No doubt. Peace.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. I'm your host and producer, Monique. My executive producer is Chris Pfeiffer. Join me next time for another exciting episode of Soul of the Glass City podcast. For more information, if you have questions or comments, go to wgte.org/soul.
WGTE. Voices around us.
WGTE is supported in part by the American Rescue Plan Act funds allocated by the City of Toledo and the Lucas County Commissioners and administered by the Arts Commission.